So, has anybody noticed the timing lately? Palantir-style surveillance tech is expanding. Systems that can stitch together massive data sets into a map of people's behavior. And right around that same time, the Epstein files suddenly drop. No gradual rollout, no clear warning, just bam, everywhere. Now ask yourself, what's one thing millions of people would immediately do the moment that this hits? They'd go online. They'd search. They'd scroll for hours. They'd share links, screenshots, names, theories, everything. Which means if a system benefits from mass attention and mass digital activity, that's the perfect storm then, isn't it? Here's another thing I just want to mention too about these files that just doesn't sit right with me. Why do we keep getting these hero narratives at the last minute? They just feel kind of randomly inserted in there. Like, oh, he kicked Epstein out when he found out this. Why wasn't that said from the beginning? Why then was it thrown in our faces if we voted for him, we would get to see these files immediately. Everything would be released. And then when that wasn't followed through with, I clearly remember him getting irritated and saying, oh, God, are we still talking about that crap? Talk about something different. That's weird. Wouldn't you want people to know that you were the hero? Why now? Why was it so pushed, down, never told when it's going to be released, and then all of a sudden just bam, released like that? I just don't understand why we didn't hear about that from the beginning. I mean, why didn't we hear about it in real time? Are we really supposed to believe that people in all those circles had no clue for years? I'm not claiming I know the full truth. I definitely don't. But I do know this: where there's smoke, there's fire. And if you hang with dogs, you probably have the fleas. Now, these people, I've been studying them for a very long time, and there's one thing I do know they do. They don't just do things for one or two reasons. No, there's multiple reasons. So, my point is, whether it's Epstein, scandals, celebrity drama, whatever, these drops do two things. Actually, three things. They keep us emotionally hijacked and distracted and overwhelmed, making us easier for our systems to shut down, not be able to even process or do anything about these issues like we need to do. Two, they keep us glued to our phones, which can only help these major systems expand quietly in the background. And three, it may be a little fringe, but this is not just a conspiracy theory. In their religion, they do things hidden in plain sight. This is to do a few things. One, it lowers your defenses. If you're think about guns, for example. When we first saw a gun on TV, oh my God, so shocking. Now we can watch tons of people get gunned down, sliced up, done all sorts of crap too. I mean, think about art in, I can't remember the name of the movies, but that killer clown guy. Yeah, those are pretty sick and twisted movies. And I'll admit, I have to walk through my fingers and all that, but I never could have dreamed of watching anything like that years and years ago. How come I can stomach most of it today? Because we're numbed down. We get numb to certain things, and then that makes us not react as much, and then we don't do really anything about it. So there's that. But also a bigger thing is their karma is lessened. See, it's kind of like a loophole in law, a really shady one. If they tell you what they're going to do, then your silence means you're acquiescing to it. And that lowers their karma. They told you about it. You didn't do anything about it. And it might be like, well, nobody told me about this, But yeah, this information actually has been out for years. None of this information is new, mind you. All the people who have been researching conspiracy theories for years that everybody's told crazy and all this stuff, this is all stuff we've all known for a long time and been trying to warn everybody about. And I'm not mad at anybody for not jumping on the bandwagon then. I'm just saying they're not giving us any new information, really. They're just confirming all the old information that's been out. But also, it just makes it more people acquiescing, agreeing, and therefore their karma's lessened. But wait, they never told me, for instance, 9/11. Here's a good example. Oftentimes people say that there was a van driving around the area around the World Trade Centers. There was a van driving around the World Trade Centers that had the World Trade Centers on the side of it with planes like flying into it. Well, a lot of people who are in the know about these religions and how they work think that was so that people would see that and have already seen it, and that way when they really saw it, it didn't really shock them, you know. And a lot of people report, that they weren't as, shocked as they should have been, you know. But yeah, so therefore, you all saw, perfect more example, or another better example about that is showing us in The Simpsons about the 9/11, you know, when Bart shows that newspaper about going to New York, and it says 911 in the Twin Towers, and one looks like, I think it looks like they're burning or something, I'm not sure, but I know there's Twin Towers, a plane, and 9/11. So stuff like that. There's other ones I can't think of right now, but those things have been repeatedly shown to us. So technically, in the eyes of the universe, we knew about it, and we didn't do anything about it. And therefore, they're not as guilty as they should be. And we're actually held guilty too. It's messed up, I know. But this is why we all need to spread this information and understand this, because the more we pour over these files, read all this stuff, and don't do anything about this, which, should we really be doing anything with their system to get them in trouble? Because I mean, I just usually don't like to look for healing or any sort of whatever at the feet of those who, broke me. It's just not really gonna work out good. But I guess y'all can try it. But no, seriously, I understand right now it's very, very just mind-blowing and shocking and just everything in the world. It's out of control. But we need to start figuring out what we're gonna do, because these people, if you've noticed, they'll have the horse and pony show with the court stuff, going on, and I used to fall for it too, and then I realized they never follow up on any of this. Like the time Rand Paul was calling people out in Congress and was like, you did this, and and this was an inside job, and this, and blah, 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 blah. I was like, oh man, yes, finally, somebody's doing something about it. Woohoo, yay, thank God. Then I realized this keeps happening, where they keep going in and talking to all these people and doing all this stuff and having all these court sessions and blah, 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 say blah. But yet nothing ever happens to anybody. We never hear about it again. And I think that's because in those moments when we see, somebody's doing something about it, we figure they're going to be doing something about it and actually follow through with that. That's just a part of their show. They're actors, all of them. They actually speak about themselves that way. Check out maritime law and admiral law, the straw man theory, or fallacy, I don't know, one of those things. It's about, look up the straw man when it comes to court systems. It's a lot right now. But we need to make sure that we're not falling for something and yet again having the wool pull over our eyes, paying attention to this which definitely needs our attention. 100%, all those victims and all the people that have suffered at their hands and are still suffering at their hands, they need our attention right now, yes. But we also need to make sure that we're not having somebody look over here. We're gonna do this. Next thing you know, you wake up and you have a whole surveillance system totally violating all our rights by people that, not even sure if I can call them people, unfortunately. Pretty sure they're just like parasitic beings. I don't know. I think it's more like that they live thing, you know, where if we were to look at them with the right lenses in a different dimension, maybe it'd look pretty scary. I'm pretty sure, because they definitely do a whole lot of scary shit, and it's got to stop. We're not standing for it. We all know each other's got each other's backs. Anything that gets put out right now, too, I want to say about your culture's gonna be taken, all this stuff's gonna be taken away. They're trying to take this from you. Please do not fall for that right now. They're literally doing it to every group because they're desperate to get us fighting. They need us fighting and separate. The more we band together and realize who the enemy is, who the bad people are, or who the bad things are, they can't keep doing what they're doing. So let's stop that. Bonus tip. If you guys really want to knock them out in one day, real quick, we just all stop using their money. Start bartering with each other. Yep. No more cash system. Oh, we're not using your banking cartel's money anymore? Guess it's not gonna really work out for you guys to be around much longer, huh? So, a lot of things to think about. Love you guys. I'm rooting for all of us.